Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. We're going to talk about this mod situation with 2K23 and what I think it means for 2K24 and the series, or should I say franchise, going forward. So let's go over to X and let's look at what's the status and let's find out what's going on. Alright, so over here talking about the mod situation, over here on X. And what's the status has a list here of what's been blocked. It says the block is for the people that upload, not download. The block is for modded creations on the 1.21 patch that just released today and above. The block doesn't prevent existing creations that are on community creations. That's good news. The block prevents mods from being installed. The block prevents custom music mods. The block prevents modders from adding new mods on the 1.21 patch and above. Okay, and then he goes on to say the custom music works. He's bad on that. He said he found a temporary fix. Be good until 2K24, so he's already figured that out. Like, I guarantee you, this is the calm before the storm, if you will. They're testing stuff. They're trying it out. They're going to see if this prevents them from uploading stuff from my faction, the attires and stuff that they refuse to do themselves. So all of this is happening because they want you to buy the my faction stuff. But the my faction stuff is locked to my faction. You can't use it anywhere else. So why would we waste our money? And then once the next game comes out, anything you've unlocked in my faction is deleted. It goes away. Like what they're proving with 2K22, which closes down in January. If you spent any money in my faction, it's going away in January. All the money and time you spent probably on that mode, bye-bye. Money, flush, toilet. Yep. So with 2K24, what I think is going to happen, and I haven't heard anybody else say this, is they're going to take the PC side. They're going to take all the PC players. They can do their own thing with community creations, and that'll be that. Then on console, only the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and I'm going to assume down the line a Switch 2 version of either 2K24 or 2K25. Those three systems will be able to trade with each other. PC will be blocked from console. I'd hate to say it, but I feel like that's what's going to come. That's what's going to happen. When they opened up community creations for cross-platform with PC, they kind of it's kind of their own fault if you think about it. They should have seen this coming. Modders were going to mod stuff. I think it's really cool that they can take something on the PC side, change it, mod it, like the beards, hairstyles, attires, upload it to community creations, and since it's cross-platform community creations, anybody can download it. I think that's really, really cool because it's such an open thing. Instead of fighting those people or blocking the modders, why not embrace them? Meet them halfway. Like, hey guys, at least say something like, hey guys, we need you to cut this off or stop doing this stuff, and we'll meet you halfway by, let's say you unlock anything in my faction, any attires or wrestlers, like action figure John Cena or Big Papa Pump, you will be able to use them in the other modes. That's what this update should have been. This shouldn't have been a blocking of the mods, the people that are keeping the game alive and keeping people buying the game because they probably see all these mods. If you haven't bought 2K23 yet, you're probably waiting for a sale, right? And you're probably like, oh wow, look at all these awesome wrestlers that are here. Because these games have so much to do in them that you don't really need to buy them every year. You could just literally play one game forever, assuming they left the servers on. So I'm assuming when they shut down 2K22, a lot of people will probably go to 2K23 because it'll be cheaper, and so on and so forth. So I know they want people to play the new game, but if you're not going to keep it updated, then don't get mad at the mod community for doing your job for you, right? And I want to talk about one more thing before I end the video, and that's games like Ultra Pro Wrestling and the Wrestling Code. They're in a very unique position here where they could come in and look like the white knights of the wrestling game community, and they could steal the player base of both games. Like, granted, they don't have the wrestlers from WWE, right? The big names like Cody, Roman Reigns, Jay, Orton, the history that WWE has, Undertaker. But if they have really good character creators in those games, you can make your own versions of them, or make them pretty close depending on how robust they are. So we'll see. Like, we don't know much about the wrestling code, but I feel like if they can get everything they want done in the wrestling code, that'll be a big contender, a big competitor for the 2K series, because they're both going for that super realism of the main product. In fact, if the wrestling code can get everything it's trying to do done, it's going to be more authentic than the 2K series, because they're bringing in wrestlers to get their movements, their animations, the way they interact with everything, to get them perfectly authentic. Like Victoria, other wrestlers too. My brain is all over the place. But anyway, they're going for the full realism aspect. It's the first wrestling game, that could compete with the 2K series, assuming they take their time and get it right the first time. If it comes out and it's buggy and it has a crappy character creator, then it'll die faster than AEW did, regardless of its roster, in my opinion. Then we got Ultra Pro Wrestling, which is the one I'm most excited for, because I like the cartoony aspect. I love Hal Haney's art, the art style, and how it translated to 3D models. I think that's awesome. I really think that game could be the last wrestling game I ever play. Well, I have this channel, so obviously I'll end up playing all of them on the channel, but that'll be the one I always go back to. Like, a new wrestling game comes out, I'll play it for a little bit, and then I'll go back to Ultra Pro Wrestling, assuming Ultra Pro Wrestling can also pull off everything they're trying to do, because holy crap, both Ultra Pro Wrestling and the Wrestling Code have some huge ambitions. And if anything has taught us anything about wrestling games are hard to make. Like, there's a reason why there's hardly any wrestling games anymore. They're hard to make. Unless you have big names like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker, John Cena, Andre the Giant. I'm kind of dating myself here with these old timers, but unless you have big names to get people to buy a wrestling game, people won't buy it. They're like, I don't want to play as any fake people. And that's another thing about the wrestling community. Everybody likes different things. So it's impossible to make a perfect wrestling game. Like, what's perfect to one person, like me with Ultra Pro Wrestling and the way they're approaching character creation, that's perfect to me. That's what I want. That's awesome. Everything else, game modes, match types, is gravy for me. So assuming they get everything done and they do everything they're saying they're trying to do, Ultra Pro Wrestling is it for me. Some other people like playing online. Personally, I stopped playing online back in 2008 for, what was that, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, because of the cheese, the cheating, the lag. That was it for me. I was done. I haven't played a wrestling game online since. I refused to because of the lag. So if they can get rollback netcode in a wrestling game and polish it like a fighting game, we could have a wrestling Evo event. That'd be awesome. I would love that. But yeah, so some people like the online, some people like the career mode, some people like creations like me, some people like the showcase mode, general manager mode, universe mode. I kind of like universe mode too. That's like my second favorite, because I like taking all my creations, making my own little universe, have my own promotions, stuff like that. But like I said, it's impossible. It's impossible to make a perfect wrestling game. That's why when a company does something like this, it just makes your game just not desirable anymore, you know? Especially when you've been the only game in town for the last, 2 decades? Like, they haven't had any competition. And it's funny that they're pulling this crap where we're going into a year where we could possibly have 2 brand new amazing wrestling games to compete with. Granted, they won't be until later in the year, but in 2025, 2K 2025 is going to have some competition. They're going to have to bring their A game, or they're going to have a secondary game that can compete with those, because the current way they're doing things is not going to work. I don't think. I think if the wrestling code is as good as it says, or as good as it's trying to be with what it's doing, and the Ultra Pro Wrestling, same thing, I think the 2K series might be in trouble. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Sorry for rambling so long. I had a lot to say about this. Thank you for watching, and stay frosty.